Hello, listeners. This is Kat, and welcome back to Put Your Hands Up Podfics. This will be the continuation of Innocent Until Proven Guilty. This will be Part 3, Chapter 3, entitled Reflections and Revelations. Midoriya Izuku was not looking forward to the weekend. Not one bit. His mother had seen the news, like the rest of the country, from the events at Kamino. While he and his classmates weren't in any legal trouble due to helping to rescue Kachan, their parents were still notified of their involvement. To the teachers and everyone else, his mother asking for him to come home this weekend after such a traumatic experience with villains would seem like something a loving parent would do. That was the point, to make it seem that way. Looking back, Izuku has faint memories of the relationship he had with his mother as a child. He remembers the bedtime stories, playing hide and seek, her cooking, and the hugs. He remembers her being warm. He misses it. When Izuku turned 4, that's when everything changed. In a bright-lit doctor's office with scans of his foot hanging on the wall, Izuku had to listen as the doctor said the 2 words that shifted his whole world. "You're quirkless." A small part of Izuku didn't fully understand what the big deal was at the time. So what if he didn't get a quirk? He could still be a hero one day, just like All Might. He could still be a hero. Right? Having some doubts that day after everything the doctor said, Izuku did what always comforted him. He watched All Might save the day and talked to his mom. "Can I be a hero too?" he asked her with tears in his eyes. She always had known what to say to make him feel better. She'd give him warm hugs and soothing words and take all the pain away when he was sad. That time, as he had been waiting for the soft words, the hugs, anything, he watched his mother turn her back on him for the very first time. She had a blank look on her face. No kindness, no smile, nothing. As she walked out of the room completely. It was such a shock that Izuku had stopped crying out of sheer surprise and confusion. "It's okay. Mommy had a long day. She's probably just tired." Convincing himself that she would be fine in the morning after some rest, Izuku went to bed. The next morning, once he'd woken up, Izuku was still in pajamas as he started to head to the kitchen for breakfast. His mom always made the best breakfast, and no matter what, she was always cooking when he woke up. He could smell it all the way from his room each morning. Except, on that particular morning, there was no smell at all. Weird. Walking into the kitchen, he saw no breakfast on the table. No one was there. Confused, Izuku went looking for his mom. He was starting to get a little bit worried. Maybe Mommy is still asleep? Running to check her room, Izuku saw she wasn't in bed, nor was she in the bathroom or anywhere else in their apartment. Izuku was never alone. She was always there with him. He'd never been by himself before. Scared and not knowing what to do, Izuku sat on the couch and turned on the TV. He put on his favorite All Might show, which always made him feel better. Stomach rumbling, Izuku ignored it and continued to watch the TV instead. Mommy would be home soon. I bet she had to go to the store to get something important. His mother didn't return home until late that evening. By that time, Izuku had been a mess of tears, scared, and extremely hungry. He had grabbed some snacks he could reach in the fridge hours ago, but he didn't have anything else the whole day. At the sound of the door opening, Izuku quickly ran to it, filled with so much relief that his mom was finally home. But as the door opened all the way, and his mother walked in, he froze upon seeing the look on her face. She didn't look warm. She didn't smile, and yet she wasn't mad either. She looked exactly like she did the previous night. Like she didn't care at all. Izuku stayed rooted in place, and for the first time in his entire life, he didn't try to hug his mother. He watched as she took her shoes off, put on her slippers, and walked right past him without even so much as a glance, going straight to her room, and presumably to sleep. It only got worse after that. Ever since his quirkless diagnosis, he hates that term. It always sounds like some disease. His mother had been cold, apathetic, and she was rarely home as it gradually got worse over time. At first, when he was little, she would prepare meals for him and leave them in the fridge so he had them to eat. Then, as Izuku got older, she stopped making them at all, and he was forced to learn how to cook for himself. There were usually ingredients in the house for the most part, but some weeks had been harder than others. Initially, he would see her in passing, always in the late evenings when she would come home. As he got older and nearing middle school, she had switched to working the night shift, so he never saw her unless she had a day off. Those days, she'd just stay in her room. Needless to say, Izuku didn't really know his mother. Not anymore, at least. She wanted nothing to do with him, and he kept the peace by not bothering her with anything. They both had their roles to play in this act. Izuku's role was taking care of himself. Taking care of himself meant a lot of things. Izuku had to learn how to do laundry, cook, clean, and walk to school by himself. As he got older, he learned more and more that he needed to do. After all, his mom wasn't the only one who had changed. The kids at school started to pick on him, even Kachan, who was his best friend. At first, it was just tripping him, or the occasional shove, some mean words here and there. As he got older, though, like everything else, that got worse too. It progressed to using their quirks on him, beatings, and threats every day. Because of this, his uniform often got torn, and Izuku had to teach himself to sew. It took a while, but he got pretty good at it. He didn't have a choice not to. In the beginning, Izuku tried asking his teachers for help. He was young and a bit naive, but he thought that they would stop the bullying since they knew it was wrong. They never did. Instead, Izuku was told to quit causing problems, to sit down and be quiet, that he should stop antagonizing the other kids. See, Izuku was a disruption, and the teachers all knew it. The first time Izuku was given detention for asking for help from his bullies, he had refused to ask for help again. He knew better than to try that anymore. Teachers were there to help and guide their students, just not him. So he did what he always does. He took care of himself. The cuts, the bruises, and burns were becoming common every day as well. He was in a lot of pain all the time, but he couldn't ask for help. Instead, he learned how to apply burn cream, clean wounds, and wrap them properly so they would heal faster. His mother didn't know about it, or if she did, she never mentioned it. His job was to take care of himself anyway, and he knew that. That's what Izuku has always done. The trade-off was that, for now at least, he got to stay in the house. It seemed worth it in his eyes. Shaking himself from his own memories, Izuku tried to focus back in on All Might, who was currently walking him home. He wasn't looking forward to another weekend alone, but at least with them moving into the dorms it would happen less often. To be completely honest, Izuku couldn't be happier about this change. UA had given him so much. He has amazing friends now who are so kind, can be in the same room as Kachan without being exploded, and he even gets to learn from All Might. It's been a dream come true for him, and that's even with the villain attacks and broken bones. He's just anxious to get this weekend over with. "My boy," All Might asked, looking mildly concerned. Izuku startled. "Sorry, what did you say, All Might? I guess I zoned out a bit there," Izuku said, rubbing the back of his neck sheepishly. All Might studied him for a moment, but he only saw what Izuku wanted him to. A nervous kid, nothing more. He knew how to play his part, how to take care of himself. Staying under the radar was crucial to that. All Might seemed to find what he was looking for in his observations and continued. "I just asked if you were all right, my boy," All Might repeated in a soft tone. "A lot has happened these past few weeks, and I wanted you to remember that if you ever need anything, I am always here." Izuku nodded. He knew All Might was just saying what he was supposed to say. It still sounded nice to hear, even if it wasn't true, so he did his best to smile at the man and look appreciative of his words. "Thanks, All Might," Izuku chirped. "I know I can always come to you." He lied, smile rooted in place the whole time. All Might looked satisfied as they continued the walk in blissful silence, nearing Izuku's apartment. As they reached the complex, Izuku assured All Might that he was all good and told him not to worry about walking him up the stairs. The hero seemed conflicted for a moment, but eventually caved and wished the boy a nice weekend with his mother. Izuku cheerfully waved goodbye and headed up the stairs. As soon as his mentor was out of sight, he dropped his smile and sighed. It was always exhausting keeping himself in such a cheery mood all the time. He was finding, though, at UA, he isn't faking it as much. He genuinely does enjoy the time with his friends, especially Shoto. They'd grown so close after the sports festival in Hosu. They were practically inseparable at this point. It's definitely not because Izuku is crushing hard on his friend. Absolutely not. Entering the apartment, Izuku freezes as he sees that the lights are on. Kicking his shoes off, he moves further into the apartment and hears the shower running. Realizing his mother is actually home, he decides to play it safe and go straight to his room. Better for everyone if he just stays there for the night. So much for watching the news and updating my analysis. Laying down on his bed to relax a bit and check his phone, he sees there are no messages at all. None in the group chat and no private ones either. It's strange. Typically the class is so chatty. Izuku was the only one to go home this weekend, though, so he chalks it up to everyone being in the dorms together. No need to text if they're all right there together, right? Not wanting to disturb his classmates if they are all busy, he just sends a message to Shoto. Sue him. He can't help it. "Hey, I just wanted to say I hope you have a good weekend. Didn't get a chance to see you before I headed out." "It definitely won't be the same without you here." Flushing bright red, he resists the urge to squeal. Shoto always does this to him. He's straightforward and blunt about everything, and while he loves the honesty, Izuku can't see a sentence like that and not hope that it's because Shoto misses him as more than just a friend. Get it together, Izuku. "I'll miss hanging out with everyone this weekend. It's only a couple days. I'm sure you'll survive until then." "Unlikely. Listen, can we talk on Monday morning before class? It's important." Izuku nearly drops his phone. Rereading it over and over, he starts to feel overwhelmed by many different emotions: confusion, anxiety, nervousness, and hope? Did I upset him somehow? What is this about? Wait. Is he going to ask? No, stop it. Don't go there, Izuku. Of course. Are you sure you don't want to talk about whatever it is now? I can call if you need. Thank you, but no. I think this is better to talk about in person. Enjoy your weekend, Izuku. I'll see you on Monday. See you on Monday, Shoto. Resolved to figure out what that was about later, Izuku puts his phone away and settles to lay down for a bit. Closing his eyes, he lets himself drift off. A sudden knock on the front door startles him. Dazed, Izuku looks around and checks the time. He hadn't even slept for half an hour yet. He listens and hears footsteps moving down the hall outside of his room. His mother must be done her shower. Slowly, he moves towards his bedroom door. He attempts to listen to find out who had been knocking. Hearing his mother open the front door, he can just make out the words she says in greeting to the other person. "Oh, good evening, All Might. What can we do for you?" she asks kindly, and Izuku's thoughts come to an abrupt halt. Unsure as to what his mentor could possibly be here for, he's dying to go ask himself, but he can't. He can't go out there because she's out there. Unless he is asked, he will play his part and take care of himself. Right now, his part is to stay hidden. He continues to listen from the door. "Yes, good evening, Mrs. Midoriya. I was hoping I might ask for your consent for something regarding your son, if I may." All Might begins softly. "You see, there have been some concerns raised by a few of your son's classmates. Now, while we know their concerns are unfounded, and quite frankly absurd, they are stuck in their beliefs about this and refusing to see reason. Now, unfortunately, I cannot disclose to you what their suspicions are exactly. But please let me assure you that I, along with the UA staff, know that your son is an incredible student, and we want to support his goal of becoming a hero in the future. However, one key part to being a hero is working with others, and we have concerns over the potential rift that may develop in the class due to their suspicions." All Might takes a deep breath, and Izuku wishes he could too. But he's too busy freaking out about what he's hearing to even consider using his lungs at all. "In order to ease the students' concerns, we wanted to see if you would consent to a questioning of your son. It would be performed by a personal friend of mine in the police force who has a lie detector quirk. However, along with that, we would like to also administer a truth serum to ensure that all questions are answered truthfully, with no room for doubt whatsoever." All Might finished his explanation, but the whole time he was speaking, he sounded like he was at war with what he was saying. Someone asked him to do this. "And you just need my consent to do this, that's all?" Inko questioned quietly, after a respectful amount of silence, making it seem like she was even thinking about it. "Yes, ma'am, that is correct. But please know that you do not have to agree to this. There is no pressure here," All Might assures. "No, that's quite all right. I'm sure Izuku would love to clear up any misunderstandings. I consent to all of it," Inko states calmly, no worry to her tone at all. All Might must be surprised by all this, because he doesn't respond right away. "Are you sure? This can be quite an invasive process," his mentor asks, clearly uncomfortable with the idea of having to do this. "Yes, I am sure," Inko responds. "If that's all, it is quite late and I'd love to spend what time I can this weekend with my son. Thank you for stopping by," Inko finishes sweetly. All Might takes it for what it is, a clear dismissal. Izuku stops listening. Returning to his bed, he's filled with 1,000 thoughts and unable to filter them easily. He's not sure what's worse, the fact that his classmates have some unknown concerns about him, or that the school intends to interrogate him in the most invasive way possible. His breathing had become erratic, as he laid there, unable to fully process. Is this what Shoto was trying to talk to him about? It would make sense that he would try to warn him first thing on Monday. He clearly assumed that nothing would happen on the weekend while Izuku was at home. He couldn't be sure, but that seemed to be the most likely scenario. Realizing there's nothing he could do about this until after the weekend, Izuku calms himself through some breathing exercises. He got good at self-soothing over the years, so he can have a better chance at getting some sleep. It'll be fine. Whatever it is, it's a misunderstanding. That's all it is. It'll be cleared up on Monday. He doesn't sleep at all that night. All right, listeners, this concludes Chapter 3 of Innocent Until Proven Guilty. Chapter 4 will be up next. Drop your comments below for me. Let me know your thoughts, your reactions, what you're thinking so far about the fic. And as always, thank you all so much for listening.